it's all about Knight Rider, or it's actually even more about Knight Rider 2000 today, when I have the huge pleasure of talking to director of Knight Rider 2000 movie, Alan J. Levi. Now you want to hang on here. This is a long conversation. It's a 95-minute movie, and of course, in some scenes we're gonna stop. We're gonna expand on what is really happening and what Alan has to say when he's sharing his memories. So I hope that you hang on here. This is, to me, an important part of Knight Rider history. I'll expand on that during the interview as well, so I won't bore you with that here. Let's get on with it. Hang tight, buckle up, enjoy the ride. Here is Alan J. Levi watching Knight Rider 2000. Hello, Alan.
Jacob, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. I'm delightful to see you.
Well, thank you. You too.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to this.
I have been looking so much forward to this too, I can tell you. So, Alan, welcome to my living room. Welcome to Denmark. It's 8 o'clock in the evening here. And I must tell you that I've been looking so much forward to talking to you about Knight Rider 2000.
Well, likewise. Here I made sure that I got up early this morning.
So you were good and ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I looked at the film over the last weekend.
Yeah. So,
and cringed a little bit here and there.
I'm delighted that this could work. You know, I had 2 weeks ago. I had a fantastic talk with your lovely wife, Sandra. Yeah, it was just brilliant. You know, I watched her episode of the TV show when I was 10 years old. She was in one of only 12 episodes that aired in Danish television. So yeah. And of course, I knew the link that you had your huge piece of Knight Rider history in directing Knight Rider 2000. So of course it was obvious that I tried to have Sandra put in a good word for me. So
okay.
Well,
her Knight Rider was just when we were dating. It was before we were together.
Okay. So you actually remember her being on Knight Rider?
I do. Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of her stories got to me right away.
Yeah. Okay. Now we see the Universal logo. So Alan, we are ready to talk about the Knight Rider 2000 movie. You're the director of this movie, and I'll just take the first question right away. Who decided that the original kit car should be in the intro here?
Well, it was a couple of the executives at Universal who thought that it would make a good movie of the week. I don't believe that they were trying to make a new pilot to go into a series. I think they had a couple of these Knight Rider movies made, actually. I think after mine, and they came to me mainly because I was at that particular time I was the only director under contract. I mean, pure director under contract to Universal, and so we talked about it, and I thought it would be good fun. I had met David, and we got along famously. Our ideas were the same, so we toddled off to cast it and to get it ready.
And when you were involved for the first time, how much was already decided? Did they have a script? Did you read the script? What did you think of it? How did that work?
to my memory, there was a first draft of the script. I don't think it was not a finished draft. And I read it and I thought this will be great fun with the Hoff and supporting cast. And actually, we first went to we went down to Texas, and I'm trying to remember where we went first, but we did not go to San Antonio. We went somewhere else, and we went down there to scout. And the city said to us, "Well, we'd love to have you down here, but there's some rules. You can't shoot on any streets after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, etc., etc., etc. We must sign a fire department to be with you and a police department to be with you, etc., etc." And I'm glad I can't remember the city because they were not cooperative at all. So we ran down to San Antonio, and they just opened up their arms and said, "Whatever you need, you got it." And we said, "We want to put a car in the canal." And they said, "Great idea, no problem whatsoever." So that was in preparation before the final script was delivered.
So, if we could talk a bit about a timeline on this, how much before? Because as I recall, this movie was filmed from March 11th to April 15th. How much earlier were you involved? Is it 2 months? Is it 6 months earlier in a process like this?
Yeah, I would say that it was probably 2 to 3 months. When you shoot in a foreign city, you've got a lot more preparation than if you just wind up the clock in your own town.
Yeah.
You've got to go down and meet with councils or figure out exactly who it is down there who's in charge, and so that you can coordinate with them, police departments, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you went there with a script in your hand, and
Yeah.
you had to find all the locations that you needed to make
Yeah.
this work.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
The only show that I ever directed in which there was no script yet was the first bombing of the World Trade Center. The writer was off in New York within 3 days after the bombing. He was writing a script. We talked about it, and he would send me pages. I went up to Portland to scout, but that was the only time I've ever scouted without a script.
Okay. So, we saw from right from the beginning that Jan Hammer did the score for this. Who got hold of him? Whose idea was that?
It was probably the executives in the tower. Dick Lindheim was one of the original founders of Knight Rider, the idea in the series, and Dick was pretty involved in the decision making from the Universal executives upstairs.
Okay.
I had not met Jan, and so I left a lot of those decisions up to Dick, and he would always confer with me. Yeah. But he was brilliant, easy to work with. Dick was a dear friend, a very dear friend of mine. So we had a really good time in doing all this. There was no cast. At that time, there was no cast except for David.
Okay, so you had to go out. You had to go out and actually involve with Edward Mulhare to get him to be part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. They had to approach him and explain exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
Edward was a very integral part to the series, obviously.
Yeah.
And so they wanted him, and then I met him before we shot.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about David and Edward, of course, as we get along here. Um, was this filmed on ordinary 35 millimeter, or how did you do that?
Oh no, it was filmed on 35 millimeter.
35 millimeter. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have digital back
No.
then.
No.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um, all the different places that you record and film, the process of finding that and saying, well, this is it, this is what I want for this, and getting all the getting the state to, or the city to not to, okay, you can do that, you can do that.
That's not really difficult. I mean, we're kind of used to it. And San Antonio is a very picturesque city, and I don't remember ever going to a location in which I wanted it, and they said, "No, we can't give it to you." I don't remember that at all down there. We wanted to film in the tower, and they said, "Of course." At off times. I mean, it wasn't through. I think we took it over for probably 2/3 of a day, maybe a whole day down there. I don't remember,
Yeah.
but it was. They were very cooperative in everything that we wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, we already saw. Saw footage from the tower. So we have the Knight 4000 now on screen along Edward Mulhare here. Was that also a deliberate decision to make its screen appearance in, at least in a setting that looks a lot like the El Mirage Desert, where the original Knight 2000 from the TV show also is driving in the intro?
Yeah, you're talking about the red car.
Yeah,
the final red car. In all the work that I was fortunate to do at Universal, there was a gentleman by the name of John Jeffries, who was my art director on quite a few series. A very intellectual guy. He would try anything and do anything. Now, he was not the art director for the show, but I got permission from them to work together on this. John was the one who actually designed the car with me. And if I remember right, that was a good 6 weeks project.
Okay.
Because they had to make a fiberglass body and design the interior and make a false dashboard for everything.
Yeah.
And that probably was the longest thing. I might mention that when we went down to San Antonio, we had just talked to an independent producer who had crews that worked all over the country, and it was much easier to hire him as a subsidiary for this particular picture. Chuck Sellier was the producer.
Yeah.
And Chuck went down there with me, and so we were able to coordinate with our producer for all of the planning of the picture.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. Now we have had Edward Mulhare presented. Maybe a few words on Edward. How do you recall him?
Edward Mulhare.
Yeah.
Oh, such a sweetheart. I mean, the old time actors are very seldom anything less than beauty to work with. He was marvelous. He would do anything. He enjoyed his time down there. He was an absolute delight. He did have some suggestions on dialogue changes, which fit his personality better.
Yeah.
But Rob Hedden, who was the writer of the show, had certainly watched a number of the episodes, but I don't think that he had any intercourse with Edward. So he wrote what he wrote, and then many times Edward would say, do you mind if I change that to be the same meaning as Rob had written, but do you mind if I say it this way?
Yeah, so he would use Devon Miles from the original TV show's way of saying it.
Yeah. He knew what his personality and his relationship with David was.
Yeah.
And that was very important because they had a lot of scenes together.
Yeah, they did, and I think throughout the whole movie, there are so many references to the '82 TV show. So as you say, that there must have been some of the executives having watched or a producer having watched the TV show. And try to reflect that as much as possible in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And the dailies were sent back to Los Angeles, and so they were able to keep up maybe one day behind us.
Yeah.
And make sure that they were happy with everything that came in at that time.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Okay, so we're here at David Hasselhoff's or at Michael Knight's new residence. Do you remember where that was? It's clearly it's on location. So there's no reason for me to ask if this is on a stage or if it's on location, because almost everything is on location here.
That's true. David's location was this house in the woods, and let me tell you why I remember it so well. This is my style of loving homes and of living. So I got out there and, well, it's just like this scene that's playing right now with Edward and David. I surveyed the place and loved it. And Chuck made a deal to shoot out there with the owner of the house, who was delightful. When we were out there, it became, if I remember right, the first time we were out there, it got to be about noon, and we were still chatting with him, and I was still walking around doing some pre-homework. And the owner of the house served us lunch, and a great luncheon, and he was just marvelous. As we left, I went to him and I asked him, I said, on this Sunday, may I come out and do all of my homework? Because there were quite a few scenes in that house. And he said, yep, please do. He said, come out for breakfast. So that Sunday, I went out there for breakfast. That was lovely. And it was about, I guess, 10 o'clock or 10:30 or so. And so I did my homework, and I was finished with the homework about 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. It was a beautiful, beautiful spring evening. And I said to him, it was on a lake, a beautiful lake, where you saw at the opening of that scene when David gets home and Edward is waiting for him, okay? So it had this gorgeous lake. It was probably about a 3-mile long lake and not too wide, maybe 600 or 700 yards. And there was a canoe down there. Now, I've canoed all my life, and up in the north woods of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so I went to the owner and I said, hold on, I'm sorry. Stop. I went to the owner and I said, is that your canoe? And he said, yes. And I said, may I borrow it for a while? And he said, well, do you know how to canoe? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, here's a paddle. Awesome. And I went, and for 3 hours, because it was dark when I got back, almost.
Yeah.
I paddled around that lake. And it was a beautiful Sunday afternoon for me. The house was gorgeous. The lake was beautiful, and it was probably 75 or 80 degrees. And I was in seventh heaven, having to work the rest of the week. That I got half a day off and could enjoy the home. It was a beautiful home and lent itself to the script so well,
Yeah, yeah,
and still got a feeling of. I felt that getting a feeling of the house and Hoff being in there, David being in there, added to his personality.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, yeah, and you actually you needed something to add to the character that we had left off in '86 when the original TV show was cancelled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He was. I'll tell you something honestly, and I watched a number of the episodic shows. David was literally more relaxed in this movie than he was in the series.
yeah,
The series he had, well, he was younger, and with 5 or 6 years later, he was number one, more mature and very relaxed out there,
yeah, yeah.
terrifically.
So
I think as an actor, he accomplished more and was much more, for me, enjoyable in his in the way he relayed to people on the screen. I'm talking about.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
great to work with, but
yeah,
I'm talking about his
yeah.
personality on the screen. Much more relaxed.
Okay, I took the liberty of pausing the movie now because we get to a part where we meet Kit for the first time, and in this box, I don't know if how visible it is. We actually have a piece of Dash from the old show. So still we have lots of references to Knight Rider. Do you know what this box contained of different electronics and things? How you got hold of that?
Well, the electronics were built at Universal. I think they farmed it out to an electronics specialist.
Yeah.
Especially the moving graph
Yeah. Yeah.
that reacted to their voice and everything.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it did surprise me that was in the script, that David had any knowledge of electronics whatsoever. It never, if I remember right, unless I did not see, excuse me, did not see any episode in which he was working on any kind of electronics.
No.
That was a new facet to what his personality was.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he built Kit. I thought that the original Kit and this Kit was being built by, some type of corporation.
Yeah,
it was
in the original show, and I think when you watch Knight Rider 2000, suddenly Michael Knight knows his way around the cars and how to be a mechanic. That's actually a new feature, but it's not entirely off the charts that he could pick it up in his new life. Yeah. And
I didn't know that, and he's sitting there with the soldering iron and doing all that kind of electronics. It's very interesting, and I think that's where we met Carmen.
For the first time.
First time,
Yeah. Any memories of him? Carmen, and how do you pronounce it? Argentiano.
Right.
Yeah.
Argentiano.
Yeah.
Carmen was a friend long before this picture.
All right.
And so I thought he was perfect for the part, and he was. And Mitch Pileggi I had met before, and I also thought that he was good for this. I was very fortunate that I could go back. The only cast member that I didn't cast was Susan Norman.
All right. Yeah.
There was a slew of girls that came in for the part while I was here in Los Angeles,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
none of them hit the mark for me. So I went down when I went down to prep the show. She was still not cast, and then one of the gals in the tower, one of the gal executives, actually, wrote me and sent me a video of Susan, and said, "This is our pick." That was that.
Yeah. So and you were fine with that.
Yeah, yeah. It was. She was a new face, and she was an interesting gal. She wasn't one of the beauties that I was a little afraid that somebody would cast some really gorgeous gal that detracted from the part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the gal who's on the screen now, Megan Butler,
Yeah. Yeah.
she was cast locally. She was a local actress in San Antonio, or maybe she was in Dallas
Yeah.
and came down. I think she was in Dallas and came down. We had a casting session of gals from Dallas who
Yeah.
came down and tried to become that part.
Yeah. So now we have Michael Knight fixing at least pieces of Kit. We never really saw him do this in the original show, but nonetheless, and as a good reference also to the old show, we have William Daniels voicing Kit.
Yes.
How did that work out?
Well, Bill did the entire series, and so I think it was again Dick Lindheim who said that, and he knew Bill very well because they had worked together for years. And I think he talked Bill into doing this when I'm not really sure that it was a big talking to. I think Bill was very pleased that he was asked to do it again, and it was a good carryover.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the series that Kit could have the same voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, lots of references. We've got the scanner working here, so yeah. So,
well, if I felt also at that time, and Dick and Dick said to me, are you okay with using Bill? I think if the new Kit had been a different voice, that the relationship between Kit and Michael would have been much more difficult to establish. They didn't have the background,
No.
and the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. How was the overall sense of having this movie following the TV show, and on the one hand to develop it so that it's not exactly the same, but on the other hand also being true to the original show. One of the premises of this movie is different in the respect that in the original show the only sci-fi related thing is actually Kit. In this show, you could say it's all sci-fi because we fast forwarded to the year 2000. Any thoughts regarding that?
Well, I think it wanted to address the times more, or and keep up with the times.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think that the sci-fi thing was invented as something out of the future. It caught up with the change in times. What was it, 6 years later?
The show ended in '86. The TV show ended in '86, and this was '91.
Okay.
And the movie takes place in the year 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a great 5 years. There's always a great jump in technology.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they wanted to address down there.
Yeah, you could say 5 years is not much if it's about finding Michael Knight in a totally different setting. Fast forwarding to the year 2000 makes it suddenly 14 years since we last saw him, and that makes it more understandable that he leads a totally different life.
Yeah, he did, and he looks 5 years older.
Yeah.
Edward didn't. Edward looked exactly the same.
Yeah,
he didn't. He didn't age much.
Oh.
But Michael looks more like a guy who had retired and got his house and lived in nature and fished on the lake and so on. And he was much more laid back.
Yeah, it was definitely believable when we watch him in the first scene at the beach house. So when he walks up from the boat with his fishing gear. Yeah.
That was the introduction.
Yeah.
And David and I talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
About being 5 years older and reticent to going back to doing what he did before and so on. And his great pal and boss, if you would, had a challenge to talk him into coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Great. Okay, so we're at the hospital now. Do you remember I expect this is probably on a stage somewhere or in a studio somewhere. Is it typical that there are hospital stages that are not used for anything else than being a hospital in different shows?
Well, to my recollection, I'm not really sure. I would bet, and I don't remember this part about it, to be honest with you. I think we found a wing of a hospital that was not being used.
Okay, yeah.
And used that wing. We had to refresh a little bit of it and bring in some medical instruments down there.
Yeah.
But our construction guys and our art director and so on did a really terrific job. I do remember it now because we had to use corridors, medical corridors, and we selected a room that was big enough that we could light and get all the filming equipment in there at the same time and everything. But there was a hospital that had a wing that was not being occupied at that time.
Okay, so even the hospital scenes are on location.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We didn't shoot anything back here.
No. Oh, that's.
It was all shot. It was all shot in San Antonio.
Yeah. You had long hours as well. I think I read that most days you were active until midnight. Is that correct? Do you remember that?
Well, that was part of my MO as a director. I was. I would always. My reputation is that you're going to use Alan Levy. He goes a long time. He's very particular, and he shoots a lot, on overtime. So Chuck Selye, who was the producer and brought in a lot of the technicians. I think everybody was on a flat. Contract.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to. But yeah, I usually go a little bit over time,
Yeah.
and sometimes we did shoot late. Yeah.
Ah,
Um,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So
it's the good thing about Jacob. It's a good thing about doing a pilot or doing a movie of the week, and that is that the director has much more input in what he does and how he does it on a pilot and a movie of the week. Because when we go in on an episodic show, everything's already set. The
yeah,
relationships between people is
yeah,
set.
yeah,
The crew is set. The home base of the shoot is set.
yeah,
So you go in as a director and you really can't start to mold somebody. You can't say to one actor, would you do it this way, please? And they go, no, that's not part of my personality in the show
yeah,
because I'll
yeah,
do it
yeah,
this way.
yeah,
So we had to establish personalities and relationships that were brand new.
yeah,
And that always takes a little bit more time.
yeah,
But I enjoy doing it so much more because the creativity and the relationships and all the sets and everything else are brand new. They've never been seen before
yeah.
except for a couple of people.
And
And
fantastic locations as well. This huge hall, is that also a high-rise building in San Antonio you're using here?
yeah, and they were great. When they had people coming and going, and we would shoot for maybe 10 minutes, and then we would shut down for another 5 or 10 minutes, let people go through that area. And if I remember right, there was a back entrance that everybody used
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
most part. But that was a beautiful set.
yeah,
Well, not set. It was a beautiful setting.
yeah. If you see the TV screen and if you, I don't know if you can read the subtitles, we have now the fiber optic network, and we have a President Quayle, and they made a peace treaty negotiations with England. So
Yes.
apparently the U.S. and England have been at something that could be war. Um, who's behind a thing like that in a TV movie like this? Do you remember?
I don't. I don't remember. It wasn't addressed that
No.
much
Okay.
in the show.
Okay.
Um,
So
it,
in a later scene, we're gonna see something from the same TV show, and we have an oil price of 10 cents. So clearly something set up to try to at least create the perception of us being way further into the future than 1991 at least.
so I think Rob Hedden wrote that in to kind of establish what the time frame was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, it didn't have any influence, I don't think, on any of our characters
Okay.
in the show.
Okay. So now we see Michael's Chevy converted to being kit. We even have the scanner out front, and we're outside shooting. Do you remember the Chevys? How many Chevys did you have? Did you have any technical issues with these cars?
No, I think that was a '57 Chevy, if
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
Um, uh, Now, I think we only had one of them. I'm not sure because if we had more than one, all the interior shots like that on the panel,
yeah.
those were inserts. The car was not changed internally.
No.
We,
But
we
I think
never,
that there's at least there are from some of the pictures that we have from behind the scenes, we have at least 2, 3. I think actually one of the magazines I read that had been on set visiting you said that you had 5 different Chevys.
no kidding.
Yeah, and also of course a stunt Chevy to be driven
Yes.
into the water in a later scene. So,
Yeah.
but here we see a very well known actor here.
Yeah. that was fun. I had actually used that as James Doohan. I had actually used James in a Magnum PI.
Okay.
And
Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
when we were searching for somebody to do this, I think Rob hadn't came to me and conferred with me on would this be a good guy to do it? And since I had worked with James, I thought that's perfect for the scene. It just brought back again a little time frame because they all recognized him as being
Exactly.
part of
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so he was playing himself. It was a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun on that.
Yeah. Was it the special effects crew that mounted the scanner on the Chevy, and I expect that what we saw from Kids Dash was on some kind of soundstage. The interiors with a voice monitor going
Yeah.
when Kid was talking.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, it was. I do remember some driving shots when it worked. It was not synchronized with the dialogue a lot, but you could see it working back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember the photographs that you have probably refreshed your memory more than it did mine. I didn't. I don't remember exactly whether we had two or three or four or five of them.
Okay.
It was difficult. I know we talked about it a lot because the main one it was, I think it was white with blue, and to find exact matches of that is kind of difficult for the transportation department to
Yeah.
find them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That that,
Um,
that makes
this
sense.
was quite a bit later than 1957.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I think one of the magazines. Now, I don't know if you could trust anything you read, but they'd been on set, and there was also talk about, and I think that one of them wrote that the Chevy that drives off the pier, you got for a bargain, and you repainted it to
Yes,
do it.
yeah, that was definitely true.
Yeah,
Um, the inside, I don't even remember. The inside was I think fitted with a chair that was specially mounted inside, so that my stuntman who drove that off,
yeah.
which incidentally was my son.
Very cool.
He's been a stuntman all of his life, and
Okay.
one of the best drivers in the business.
All right.
So he came down. He came down. It was a very fateful trip for him because he came down. He did all the driving
Yeah.
down there, and as well as there were a couple of girls who were visiting from Dallas in San Antonio who came to the set and were watching, and he met down there. He met one of the girls that came down from Dallas, and eventually married her, and he's still married to her.
Fantastic. So he actually
So,
met her on this show.
yeah, he met her on the show. Well, she was just visiting,
Yeah, yeah.
so it was rather a fateful
So
meeting and assignment for him. But
yeah,
he did all the driving, which you just saw, where the car was in the big stable.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we also have now we have Kit personalized in the Chevy, talking to the Knight 4000,
Yes.
as
Yes.
I recall the red car is called. Um, Any memories regarding how that how that scene where the two cars meet, what you wanted with that, what you wanted to do with that?
Well, it was Rob had actually written their conversation in the script, and what I did was is that my one of my stand-ins read the dialogue that was supposedly coming out of the Chevy, and my script supervisor read the dialogue that was coming out of the red car. So we actually did a conversation on stage,
Yeah.
so that we could activate each individual scan, the red scan on the front of the car.
All right. All right.
It wasn't terribly difficult, but it was kind of fun to shoot between the two of them.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about the relation between David and Susan Norman. Do you recall how did they get along on set? Were there good vibes between them?
It was okay. David was very kind. Susan was fairly new. She had not done a lot. And whether she was happy doing the part or not, at times it was questionable.
Okay.
There were a couple of times where she was reticent to do certain things.
Yeah.
And she was a very sweet girl. But I finally went to her one day and I said, this is a big break for you. And I feel that being reticent to do certain things, and I'm not taking it personally, but you're fighting, I think, a little bit of the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is something that is very valuable to me. And she said, I really don't think I'm even built for the business. She was not really sure that she was enjoying herself that much. She was a sweet girl.
Yeah, yeah.
And after this movie, I think she did one or two pictures, not very much.
No. Exactly. Well,
I don't think she enjoyed getting up at 4:30 in the morning and working till midnight.
And we come back to those late hours.
And David was so understanding and sweet and kind to her.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that it was their relationship was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. I don't think if this had been a pilot and go to a series, I don't think she would have wanted to do that.
No. But as I recall, David had other arrangements. He had to go back to Baywatch, isn't that correct? So he couldn't. If this was kind of the idea that it should be picked up and be made into a new TV show, it wouldn't even be possible for David to do it.
No, not at that time, for sure. He was sort of on loan for this. He had to make a break in his normal filming repertoire in order to come down there, because this was about a 3.5 week shoot. Am I correct? You know that?
I think it was more. I think it was 5 weeks. From March 11th to April 15th, almost 5 weeks. My German magazine says that you had a budget of around $5 million. Do you remember if that is correct, or?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And that's a lot of money in 1981.
Yeah. Yeah.
movies of the week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't remember. I don't think I shot for more than 4 weeks. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
We may have been down in San Antonio for that because I was down there for almost 2 weeks just prepping.
Yeah. 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 So how about post production for a movie like this? How much work do you have when you say cut for the last time? How was your involvement in making it into exactly what you want?
Well, normally, and we did this. I don't think there was a rush to finish it. If the budget was 5 million, I'm sure there was enough money to satisfy our post production schedule. But I usually give the editor, who was back in Los Angeles, I usually give the editor time to make his cut and then to refine it to a certain degree. And then I go in with him and we sit on that cut, on his presentation. First, we screen it on a big screen
Yeah.
just to see how it looks on the big screen. And then I go into the editing room with him, and I think it was about a 2 to 3 week, about a 3 week edit,
Yeah.
a re-edit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we changed a lot, but there were little times when I was shooting that I knew that I wanted to use this particular part of the shoot, this shot or that shot,
Yeah.
or try and get inside of the character a little bit more so that we understand their relationships and things like that. That's what you normally do in post. But we spent, I would say, about 3 weeks in there. And then, of course, then you have a screening for sound effects and music where you spot exactly where music starts and where it ends during this stuff.
Yeah.
And then you give it to the sound effects people who can put in all of the other. But if you need any dialogue, if there was a train running by or a siren in the distance or whatever on one chick, then you have to go into looping. And you usually have about a week of looping on a show like this, especially when you're on a location and you can't control your surroundings. You
Yeah.
don't
So
you don't wait.
so you will bring the actors in
Yes.
for looping. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that there was probably about a 6 week post.
Yeah.
It would probably be about a 2 week. I think Jan probably would take about 2 weeks to write the score.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of music in this.
No. No. No.
Um,
No.
but still, in all, I would imagine there might be 15 to 18 minutes worth of music in this
Yeah.
in this whole
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
On a 90-minute show.
Okay. This movie is quite special to me. You know, I live in Denmark. We didn't get to see Knight Rider on Danish national television until 1986. So, and I was, I was a fan from the very first second. I saw Kit and David Hasselhoff. But at that point, the original TV show had already been cancelled in the US. So,
Yes.
so the actual first time that I, as a huge Knight Rider fan at this point in my life, actually see something that is live Knight Rider, is when I watch a short feature on Entertainment Tonight regarding the filming of Knight Rider 2000. I had this on my VCR and I watched it again and again and again, and they showed, among other things, they showed pictures of the car exploding, the police car exploding, which comes later in the movie. And yeah, and also at this point in time, I was buying. David Hasselhoff was a huge star in Germany at this time. He had he had Knight Rider. He had Looking for Freedom, his top hit top single in Germany and actually in Europe. And and I bought everything that I could get near of German magazines, and they had these 2 pages on visiting your set, because of course they were so interested in everything that had to do with Knight Rider and in David Hasselhoff. So that kind of brought me live into the world of Knight Rider, and I had never experienced that before. As I recall, I'm not sure that the movie has ever been aired on Danish television. I know it was on German television, not that far after. It aired in the US, so I watched it German synchronized, German dubbed. Until the DVDs came in 2003 or 2004, something like that. And the movie was on the DVDs box set. So yeah.
But what you looked at, was that a documentary on the making of the picture?
Yeah, it wasn't a real documentary. Entertainment Tonight. It was only 3 minutes. Where they had visited the set and talked to David and showed a few behind the scenes things from the show, but even 2 minutes of what David Hasselhoff is doing as of now was way more than I had ever experienced before. So in that respect, this is the first part of Knight Rider that takes place live to me when I was a Knight Rider fan. So very special and dear to me. Yeah.
Well, then I have to credit you with helping me with some of my residuals.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I'm lucky enough. Everything that had something to do with David Hasselhoff was put into my archives when I bought these magazines, and of course I've been looking through it and finding all the good bits. So, but we're gonna get to a couple of pictures from these magazines as well, shortly. So yeah.
How wonderful! No wonder I'm talking to you.
This is it's Knight Rider for life. So yeah.
So, now, have you interviewed anybody who was connected with 2000 other than myself?
No, you're the first. I think I've had 18 or 20 interviews. I've talked to Jack Gill and Stu Phillips as well, actually. Don Peake, Rebecca Holden. So a lot of people related to cast and crew from the original show. But when I talked to Sandra and I knew that you were her husband, of course, it made perfectly sense for me to dive even deeper into this piece of Knight Rider history. So yeah.
What fun for you! And thank you.
It is. It's to me it's great. Having the ability to talk and do things like this. When the DVDs came out back in the early 2000s, I was a huge fan of all the extra material that we got, and really no extra material has ever been made on Knight Rider. Actually, during the pandemic, I got the idea of talking to Jack Gill, and he said yes. So that was actually when it started. We were all home during the pandemic doing nothing. So I thought, well, he might be as I am. And he decided to do a video with me. So yeah.
Well, I don't think I've added much to your knowledge about it. And really.
Definitely. I would say that in almost everything you say brings new pieces to the puzzle. So it's fantastic. When
you're bringing back such memories, let me tell you.
Okay, great. Well, it is what this should be. It should be a trip down memory lane, or a drive down memory lane, as we could say when it's Knight Rider related. So yeah.
Definitely.
So when you because as I recall that there wasn't a second unit for this, is that correct? So you did all the filming?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That is,
So,
yeah.
what are the mechanics when you, for example, film David and Susan in a car? How do you do that? What are the angles? Do you have any good tips in order to do that in a good manner?
Well, Billy Dixon, I think it was. Yeah, Billy Dixon was the DP on the show, the cameraman on
Yeah,
the show.
yeah,
He and I got along like brothers. I mean, it was really great. I told him that in order to update this, update Knight Rider, that I was going to use a lot of angles that were not used in the earlier version of it because it was a movie. It's a movie,
yeah, yeah,
and it deserves a treatment to it that was just not normal television close up to over shoulders close up and so on.
yeah,
Especially in kit, we had a smaller camera than what is normally shot with, and I used that a lot. Sometimes down on the floorboards, looking up at them, of both
yeah, yeah,
Susan and David, and he was great about that. And I normally set all my shots myself because I have a vision for that, and I was a DP, and so we had a great relationship between it. Billy was just absolutely terrific. And as I went into overtime, he was always aware that he go a little faster for me. Anyway, yeah, I tried to, especially in kit, if you just shoot through the windows at two people sitting there all the time, then it kind of becomes almost a live television show, a daytime soap opera. And that's something that we all wanted to try and get around totally.
yeah,
And Billy was great. The crew was marvelous. They were all an independent crew. But literally, I could shoot however I wanted to in order to make it a more alive relationship, and we had a lot of bad guys, okay, and then we had a lot of very powerful actors. Carmen was always shot a little bit different. Mitch was shot differently, who's on the screen right now.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what you can do in a movie of the week or a TV pilot, and give it a life of its own. So I think we had a couple cameras. We had one camera that we used on 90% of it, and then 10% of it was using a smaller camera.
Okay.
That we could fit into places that a big camera just won't be able to fit.
Yeah.
But there was no second unit. No.
No.
First of all, we didn't have a second unit crew, and number one, and number two, in most scenes that could have been shot second unit, we had one of our main characters, and I didn't want to give that over to a second unit to try and shoot.
Yeah.
So so that the continuity may have not been as smooth as I was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's talk now, because we're getting we're not getting near the end, but we're getting to some of the action scenes, and we need to talk a bit more about the Knight 4000 as the new kit is called. What do you remember regarding this car? We know it was based on a Dodge Stealth. Did you have any saying in how this car should look? As I recall it, Jay Orberg, the car customizer, he had a central role in in bringing some of at least the car, some parts of it to life.
Well, there were four people involved in transitioning to what the car as you see it right there on the screen. There were and I forgot his name. You just mentioned his name.
Orberg. Yeah.
Yeah. He was involved. John Jeffries was the main guy who worked with him on the design of it, which I also worked with them on it. And then Dick Lindheim was the final okayer on doing this, the executive that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So the four people were we had many designs actually. John had sketched out a bunch of ideas, and then we brought one. We amalgamated one design into another design back and forth. But we also had to be faithful to a certain degree because it was going to be too darn expensive to remake the entire exterior of the car.
Yeah, of course.
So it was completely different.
Yeah.
So it was more of a facelift, as it were, to exactly what was happening. Because we didn't want it to be identified so much as the Dodge itself.
No. I need to ask you about the color as well. You know, we got used to the original kit being black. Any memories regarding why this car should or ended up as red?
Well, number one, we certainly didn't want to make this just an updated version of the black car. Okay, and the black was kind of ominous at times in the original kit. We wanted something more alive, and we wanted it to be attractive. Not that the old kit was not attractive, it was, but we wanted something more alive with it.
Yeah.
And so we decided, we went through all the colors, you know, do we want to make it yellow? Do we make it want to be all white, which looks like a police car? And we said no. And finally, it was John who brought us some samples of colors that he had made, like a 2x4. So we got a real good advantage of looking at what the overall color would be. And finally, we decided on the red, the red car. It's highly visible.
Yeah.
It's different than the original, and it has more of an up personality.
Yeah.
Than a black car.
Yeah, well, I'll say it to a huge fan who met the original kit to begin with and fell in love with that. I think it's great to hear that you've actually been four well-educated people involved in finding out what should a new kit look like. It's not just something that has been developed in a cellar somewhere.
The other thing is that when we settled on the Dodge itself, then we had to be somewhat faithful to the design of it.
Yeah.
With facelift variations put on it.
Yeah.
I think the rear fender was different. The front of the car, the grille and everything else was different.
Yeah.
We had to be somewhat faithful to that there.
Yeah.
And we couldn't. We had to spend a lot of money on it. There was no question about it.
Yeah.
And one of the versions of it had to be made watertight, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, we will. I'll let it roll here. And I don't know if you know, but there are lots of similarities in this scene compared to the first scene where Devon takes Michael Knight out in the Night 2000 in the original TV show. So I don't know if you remember how you decided on all these references to the old show. Was that already in the script when you got it, or was it some of the executives at Universal that pointed it this way or that way?
No, the Rob had written that expressly so
Yeah,
that there was a similarity,
yeah,
and I had to go back and look at some of those scenes,
yeah,
so that I couldn't do it totally different because then you couldn't see the similarities. It wouldn't carry over. Okay, but this was all shot green screen.
okay, okay,
Yeah, so that all the special effects could be green screened in and so on.
yeah,
And most of the stuff inside the car, except the stills, like what is on the screen right now,
yeah,
where by stills I mean when we were not moving.
yeah,
Those were shot. Some of them were shot green screen, and some were literally shot on a location.
yeah,
But since this was we were at that time of year, it rained every once in a while in San Antonio.
yeah,
So we specifically boarded these interior shots as as cover shots, so that when we had a forecast, like if a forecast for tomorrow was rain, we could slip this shooting in, and we would go in that big area that you saw. That was
yeah,
where the two kits were.
yeah. In that
And,
big warehouse.
yeah,
It's
and
not
we could go in there and shoot green screen,
yeah,
or at times we could park it at a location and shoot. And it was very quick to shoot the interior of the car scenes
yeah,
when we just parked the car on location.
yeah.
If that was
And do you remember? Did you want to use the car more than you actually did? Because I recall reading that the car was brought to the filming and then to the locations late during filming. Is that, do you remember anything about that?
yeah. Well, the car itself. Well, we used the Chevy a lot, as you can see.
Yeah,
The red car was definitely brought in late
yeah,
because there were problems in production
yeah,
in producing the red car,
yeah,
and we boarded it that way. But what we also wanted to do was to shoot the exterior locations, the bigger locations where there was either the '57 Chevy used or not the red car, so that if it became inclement, that we had the red car to go back to.
yeah.
But we also the car was delivered about, I'm going to say, 10 days late
Yeah, yeah.
than we
I
thought.
can imagine that that had something to say.
Well, yeah, there were some difficulties, and the waterproof car didn't get there until almost when we were out of other scenes to shoot.
Ah, okay, okay.
And we had to test that, if you remember. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's watch this scene of your son driving off the pier in a
Yeah.
'57 Chevy.
Yep. Actually, he drove the car. I've got to go back and tell you that he drove the car a lot. There was nobody in it when it went off the side. We could not endanger, even my son wouldn't allow it. So what we did is we locked the steering wheel and we did a push off camera, as you see there.
Yeah.
We did a big push off and it just ran over the side and dumped in. We were not, we didn't allow anybody in the car.
Okay, okay. So
If I remember, I'll ask him just for the hell of it if I remember, but I'm pretty sure we wouldn't do that. There was no need to.
the scenes down here underwater, I expect that will be green screen or something.
That was definitely green screen,
Yeah, I
handheld camera.
yeah. Let's see if we can bring it up. I have a couple of pictures that I'd like to show you now from from the show. Just give me a second. We'll just take a brief pause. I think we can have them up on the screen. Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah,
That was. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Force 2000 is mentioned in two of the German magazines as a I don't know, a working title on the movie. Do you remember that?
No,
No, no.
no. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and this is just a short clip of David in his, or a picture of David in his house wagon. Is that usually the way that the lead characters are traveling when they are doing movies like this?
Usually, yes. I mean, he had a motorhome, if
Yeah.
I remember right. A lot of times we just carry a large van that has four or five smaller places for the people to rest and everything.
Yeah.
I would say that now, ever since the late 70s, that most of the lead characters in movies and carry a much more comfortable craft with us
Yeah.
that they can relax in. They don't want to be cubbyholed. And if I remember right, this was a motorhome, and it was very comfortable for him.
Yeah.
I think Edward had the same thing, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Yeah.
I do remember that David is so good with children,
Yeah.
and he goes to hospitals and he goes to clinics, and he talks to people. I mean, Knight Rider, the series Knight Rider, was favored by young boys a lot. They love Kit. They love his relationship with Kit, and so on. And David would frequently visit hospitals and underprivileged homes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
always that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a picture here as well of the insert. It's only half a car. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's only half a car, and Knight Rider historians actually owns this insert car. They have it in their collection.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah, they do. So I expect that this was what was used when there were interior shots of the car driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Used for the green screen shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it was mobile, it was much easier to get around. If I shot through this window, then we had to move it around the other way to shoot the other window.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to keep in the same relationship to the green screen.
Yeah.
And it
you
was
also-
much easier.
You got a lot of filming being done from the back seat, and that is probably also easier to do. I don't imagine that the hero car had a very big back seat. So
No, it didn't have a dashboard.
no.
No, so I had to use the real car
Yeah.
against green screen to shoot the where you saw the dashboard and in between whoever was sitting in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
We couldn't use that.
No.
You see, it's blank.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a photo of the dashboard of the hero car, as far
Yeah.
as I recall. Yeah. So and you had to put on all the graphics in post production.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we had to lock the camera down in the back seats because it couldn't move. Otherwise, you would have much more difficult post-production scenes.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. So yeah, here we have the boat car. We'll get back to that. This is a picture of the Chevy being. I think
Yeah.
this is actually from perhaps from the scene that we're watching with the Chevy being tilted as it's
Underwater.
through the water, with a green screen behind it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could be. No, I don't think. I don't know if it's David Hasselhoff sitting inside the car. And here we have a picture of this is probably the Chevy that is run over the pier. It's not in a very good condition, at least.
No, no. I think we found that in the junkyard, actually.
Okay. so it was cheap to run off the pier.
It was very cheap. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It had no engine in it at all.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's continue. I'll just leave us out of the photo shooting here. We have more pictures to come when we get to at least to the scene with the Knight 4000 on the water. So yeah. So we're moving on here, and we have our main characters underwater. And as you said, this is green screen, and then all post production in a studio with the graphics here, and then the dash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all inserts.
Yeah.
We had a full dashboard all by itself with all this stuff in it. There were no surroundings to it all.
Okay.
It was basically a big piece of plywood in the dashboard. That was the dashboard. You never see above it to anything else, as you can see.
Yeah. So all did in a sound stage.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think in the next scene now we get to see the last breath of Devon Miles. A sad scene for a Knight Rider fan. You knew I would expect that you knew that even if there were to be some kind of TV show following this, that Edward Mulhern would not be in it. So in that respect, it wasn't a problem to so to speak let him go here.
No problem at all.
No.
Although,
do you know how did he feel about it himself? Do you remember about his character being killed off?
Well, you're talking about Edward?
Yeah, Edward. Yeah.
Well, I think it was natural that would happen in this show.
Yeah.
There had to be some heartthrob, some heartstrings pulled somewhere along the line. And Edward being elderly at that time, I mean, more so than anybody else in the scene.
Yeah.
There was a psychological effect on Michael and everybody else portrayed in this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good scene. If I remember, we even involved Kid in it.
Yeah. You did. Yeah, we see some footage from the original TV show with the old Kid. Any memories regarding who chose which scenes to show here? And I guess it was all Universal, since Universal is doing this movie. They also can go back in their archives to find whatever they need from the old TV show.
Absolutely. And Rob had, I think he had, I don't know how he got hired on this. I think Dick Lindheim found him. He had written another script or so, and Dick found him, and I think they started talking about this. I'm going to say maybe 6 to 8 months, way before, probably in 1980.
Yeah,
In,
yeah,
in the fall of 1980, and they had discussed this, and Dick had had a lot of input into the writing of the script,
okay,
and Dick knew the show so well.
yeah, yeah,
He was one of the originators of this show,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he was co-creator, if I remember right.
yeah.
Um, so his input was invaluable.
So did Glenn Larson, who is usually credited as the creator of the show, did he have anything to do with this movie?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
No, Universal did not want to involve him. He got an originator's a creative. He got a creative credit,
Yeah, yeah, he did in the beginning.
and
Yeah.
knowing Glenn like I do, he got well paid for it. I knew Glenn very very well.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, have you done a lot of work with him? And if you know him, could you maybe talk a bit about him?
Well, I forgot what the year was, but he read a script called not Star Trek, the big movie. I don't know why I'm
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
He read Star Wars. Star Wars was originally brought to Universal, and Universal turned it down.
okay.
And yeah, they said they didn't like it. They didn't think it would sell. It was very expensive. All of the above. Okay. So Dick somehow Glenn got a copy of the script, whether he was given it for his opinion by the powers that be. I don't remember, but anyway, he wrote it, and he said, "You know what?" Then they took it over to 20th Century Fox, and Fox said, "We're going to make the movie."
Yeah.
Glenn said at that time, "I'm going to beat him. I'm going to write my version of Star Wars, which was Battlestar
Yeah,
Galactica."
Battlestar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So so it was made into the original. The pilot was made into a 3-hour pilot, $13 million,
All right.
and it made its money back showing in Japan. I took over directing that pilot halfway through.
Okay.
So that was my introduction of working with Glenn.
All right.
So I took over the pilot and I directed half of the pilot, and then I directed the first episode, which was a 2-hour special of Battlestar Galactica when we went on the air with it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I had the occasion of working with Glenn quite a bit.
Yeah.
He was an individual. Let me tell you. These are beautiful scenes. I got to tell you, looking back,
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
these scenes outside the house.
Yeah. So how do you when you read a script, you see the script, how do you decide? Okay, this is the exact filming position, camera position I need to make this work the best.
Well, when I read a script, the first time I read a script, I just read it like I'm viewing it. I don't tear it apart mentally. Then I go back and read it, and then I have a visual of exactly what I wanted to do, but I don't have any of the locations. I just have an idea of different scenes. For instance, this camera angle. Okay. In regular television, it would probably just be a cross two shot.
Exactly.
Whereas looking up at them is much more powerful because of the argument that they had here.
Yeah.
So when I go to locations, I do a lot of homework. I do a huge amount of homework. I go to every set, depending on how many days I'm shooting on the set, and I'll spend between 2 and 3, about 2 hours. I spend 2 hours per day of shooting on the set, and I walk the scenes
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And I walk both of the characters myself. And once I feel that my direction as far as asking somebody to move or to go down here where it's more beautiful to see the water, etc., etc. When that comes to mind, then I start looking at my visually at my camera shots.
Yeah.
First I walk it to make sure that, from my point of view, that the actors will be comfortable and that it's natural for them to do what I feel I ask them to try and do. It's not set in stone. I will ask an actor, "Do you about this part in the scene, somewhere in the scene that feels good to you? Can you get up and walk down by the waterfront?" And if they say, "Yeah, I'll try it," and if they do that, they say, "I'd like to walk down here maybe 2 sentences earlier because what I'm saying at that time is more conducive to my movement, etc." I'll say, "Fine."
Yeah.
Or um, if I ask them to walk to a window or something, and they say, "Well, that doesn't feel right to me. Can I do this instead?" 99% of the time, I'll say, "Fine," as long as you're doing something, as long as it fits your dialogue, fits your personality, fits your what's happening in the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I do visualize just a general shot in a scene before I get to location, but then I refine it.
Yeah. 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 Great. So now we actually we have the kit computer installed in the Knight 4000. So it's like a real kit now with a
Yes.
scanner in front, and it's Michael Knight who's repaired it, and they're off now to fight the bad guys.
Yeah.
All very splendid. And I also think that watching this again with the aim of talking with you about it and watching it with you, it kind of puts me in a place where I really appreciate all the tributes that are in this movie to the original show. Along with the fact that it's actually renewed, and it's a fantastic looking car, and good action as well.
When it came out, and then in preparation for this chat with you, I went back and even at the time, I read the reviews, which were not very favorable at the time that it came out, because everybody was comparing it. They didn't like the new kit.
No.
For 6 years, 7 years, the show was on the air.
Yeah, yeah.
They love the old kit. It was black. It was more. It looked more powerful. Even though Bill Daniels was the same voice out of it, they didn't feel that the new one was comparable to the old one, and so there wasn't that popularity to 2000.
Yeah, but I think you have to view the movie in somewhat of a different light, because it has a lot of tributes to the old show. There are lots of references, and also a renewal of the old show. And I don't think that any Knight Rider fan will ever be satisfied with any other car than a Pontiac Trans Am being kit, and that's just it. You could see it as well in the 2008 TV show with a Mustang Shelby, I think. as kid. Very very nice car, but to the Knight Rider fans, it has to be the Pontiac Trans Am. But aside from that, there are many things in this show that are actually a tribute to the original TV show. So if you watch it out there, I would say, well, I know it's running here behind me, but sit down and watch this TV movie again and try to count all the references and that are to the original Knight Rider show. There are lots of them.
Yeah, I think the only difference here, as you say, the only true difference here is that the car is different.
Yeah.
The story is still Kit and Michael fighting bad people, as you say.
Yeah.
So it has a great similarity to what was happening throughout the entire series.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were I was on the internet last week doing some research on it, and there were several people who have tuned into this recently. And there was one guy, I don't know what his age was, but he made a comment. He said, originally I didn't like this movie much. He said, but I just looked at it again, and you know what? It was damn good. Yeah. So I thought,
yeah,
I'm not going to read anymore. The hell with it.
Yeah, I've never disliked it, but I must say that I found it much better than I remembered it when I watched it again prior to doing this interview, because
me too.
Yeah, it's a tribute to the old show, and as at the same time it's a renewal of the old show, and it's not intended to be a new show. And in that respect, I think actually it shows a lot of respect to the old show.
Yeah, I looked at it again. I looked at it twice, within the past 2 weeks, and it's not bad. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, for damn sure.
Oh, you shouldn't be. I think it's a fantastic part of Knight Rider history, and as I said, it was live when I was a Knight Rider fan, and that makes it so special to me. So
yeah, I kind of enjoyed, but in fact, I've got to tell you, I did not remember much about it because I haven't seen it in so long. But I even remember some of the dialogue in it, which I directed Every Other Bionic Woman, and that was 1976, 77, 78. And Lindsay Wagner and I, when we have lunch every once in a while, and we start spouting off the dialogue to each other. And it's kind of fun. I don't know how I remember, because I can't memorize a scene. My memorizing is just terrible. Sandra does it. That's her profession.
Yeah.
No thanks. But this, at times, I remember some of the dialogue.
Yeah. So, we're closing in on the last part of the last 2-3 action scenes here in this show now. Again, you have a filming of differently, at least from what we usually see. A scene like this where you have Hasselhoff and Susan Norman in the car, and we see the bad guy's car out through their window. Would that be filmed live on location?
You know what? I wish I remember. And if another shot, will probably refresh if there is another shot of that.
Yeah, just let me. We can quickly rewind here.
Rewind it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Okay.
You've got him here. and you've got a car rolling. They're driving in parallel with the car that the bad guys are in. I don't know. I don't know if it's done in a studio or if it's.
I think it was green screen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I shot the limousine as a plate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The plate being a background plate.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
because then I could control it.
Yeah.
And you know, if you get out in if you try and do it live, you've got to synchronize so many things, and it might take you too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And knowing me, it would probably take very long.
So we get to the chase scene just in a couple of minutes. Maybe we should talk about. I don't know if you remember all these quite generic locations. What are in all the boxes that are in this location? They were in a warehouse, and here we have all the police that the police assembled. When you do a chase scene, how does that work? Because now we're going to see a chase scene. We got the police cars chasing Kit, or the police chasing the bad guys. How do you decide on how many police cars, which type of police car as well? If you could touch upon that, and where do they go? You need to scout for that location as well.
Well, you know, you in your mind you try and formulate exactly how the chase starts, what happens in the middle of the chase, and how it ends.
Yeah.
So basically, you try and find locations that fit, you know, for all these police cars, which we had to put the sides. On the sides, you actually put a plastic plant on so that it wasn't the San Antonio police, you know. Although we did. Oh, I do remember that. That was good. Scared the hell out of me. We were able to not this car, but we were able to commandeer some of the San Antonio police cars that were not in use at that time.
Okay.
And we had plastic inserts made for the sides.
Yeah.
It's a metallic kind of thing, and you just slap them on. What I normally do is I will find a place where it starts, about them coming out of the building there, first the big police car and then the smaller ones. And then I try and find a suitable ending for it at that location. Then I know what kind of transitions you need between the police cars coming out and the police cars finally ending up at the crash scene. And then it's pretty much up to the director as to how long that chase should be. And there were some shots there that I think I did send out a cameraman and get some shots of just the police cars running by and the other car. I don't think I did that at all.
We'll just take the explosion once again here. Yeah, here it comes. So, how is a car that is made to explode like that? How's that done?
Which part?
Yeah, well, I would say all of it. How do you make a scene like that with a car exploding?
Well, special effects will load the car with a certain amount of controllable explosions, and then you either, since it's moving, you either push it and then the push car gets out of scene, and then it will continue on to a certain amount, or you hook it with a pulley and pull it with another car way in front, and you have to pick your angle so that one way or another you're not seeing either that it was pushed or whatever, or pulled.
Yeah.
And you have a pretty exact place at which you want that they hit their plunger, or if it's wireless, that they click the wireless
Yeah.
and set off the explosion. There is always a safety meeting behind every chase, every beginning of the chase, every end of the chase. You have a safety meeting, and you actually walk through where the explosion takes place, where the cars that are either pushing or pulling it can be. You walk through anytime there's any kind of either gunfire, or here this was a small rocket, that was fired at it.
Yeah.
Small rocket launcher. The actual explosion of the normal, if it was a rocket launcher, that explosion is done in post production.
Yeah.
You never want to have something in there come out, like the fire that comes out afterwards.
No.
And then you have sort of a rehearsal of exactly what it is, so that everybody knows what's going on. Especially when Kit comes down, you have explosions, small explosions. They're only about an inch, but you drill into the sidewalk, or in this case the street.
Yeah.
You ask if you can drill in and put a small explosion there, and that has to be timed out exactly. The explosion that it comes in front of Kit, for instance, that's all up to your special effects guys.
Yeah.
And special effects, they have to be licensed. They have to be licensed by the city and licensed by the state.
All right.
So these guys know what they're doing, and they've got all kinds of explosions. They either put sand in it sometimes so that it's bigger, or dissolvables like plastic.
Yeah.
That actually will burn up in the fire and so on. Yeah. But that is a time-consuming thing to do. Yeah. No question about it. Yeah.
Talking of special effects, we have Kid on the water here.
This was an above the water scene, yes.
Yeah, this was an above the water scene. I know why you say that. Should we? I think if I can maybe find a couple of pictures here as well, from what also happened during this scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Also here we have the blown up police car.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe I should stop talk now, and I should just let you talk, Alan. What is it that the picture shows us?
Excuse me. I was in the tower the day that special effects and a small crew was going to take the floatable, watertight car kit down to do a dry run, as they say, which didn't turn out that way, because when I was shooting in the tower, everything was fine. I came down in the tower, and I was met. I guess it was probably 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night when we were finished up there. And I came down, and I knew they were going to do a test. I came down, and one of the secretaries who was working on the show, or the runner or assistant or whatever it was, walked up to me and said, "Did you hear the news?" He was carrying a newspaper, and he said, "Did you hear the news?" And I said, "No, what?" I was expecting something, I don't know what. And he opened up the front page, and it had a picture similar to this, except that the car was not above water. It was just kind of sticky. They put it in the water, and it sank. And he said, "Kit sank," and the I don't remember the exact. Do you have a picture of the newspaper? I don't know. Did anybody get
I'm not
that?
sure.
It had the headline, a picture of the car, and a headline that said something like "Kit sinks" or "Knight Rider 2000 car sinks in the canal." Whatever it was. It was front page with.
I'll just try to see
I
here
know.
if I can find, because I have a couple of pictures from the German magazines, and it could be that there was. No, I have a picture of the Chevy going over from.
Yeah, that's the Chevy. No, this.
Oh, we got it here. We got it here. We got it here. This is actually this is a two-pager from one
Yeah,
of the German magazines, and if I enlarge this, there are a couple of newspapers. Yeah, and one of them, as we can see right here, is actually the kid is sinking. Yeah.
yeah. Well, the paper that they gave to me was the front page on the San Antonio paper.
Yeah, it definitely could have.
Picture,
It could have been where they got it from. Fantastic.
yeah, and the headline. No, there was there was nobody in the car because it had sunk.
Yeah.
All that was visible was the roof. Okay, the headline said something like "Kit sinks" or something like that, and it was devastating. And John, the designer of the car, luckily was on set. He was down there during the test,
Yeah.
and they found out why it sank. Well, I think that's a picture, what you just had there, of them trying to get it out of the water.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because you can see how much is above water
Yeah.
there. Not much.
It's really a sunk car. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
really.
and we can also see here's a picture of how it looked. Do you remember? Do you remember anything about how it was constructed? What was it? Just a shell that I was
Yeah.
put?
No. It was a shell, but I don't remember whether it had it did have, I think, an electrical engine in it. It had a propeller.
Okay. Yeah. So it was type of a kind of a boat car.
Yes, it was,
Yeah.
and you could drive it.
Yeah.
They did drive it.
Okay. So
Literally.
you could also drive it on the roads.
No,
No, but
not on the road.
okay,
No,
okay. So you could sail it.
only in the water.
Yeah.
You could sink it or drive it.
Yeah. All right. You can
you know.
drive it on the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Alan. Fantastic. So
So John got it out of the water, spent 2 days re-waterproofing it, finding out where it sank or why it sank, and then John is no longer with us. He would have been a great guy to talk to. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, let's get on with the movie now. Kid is making a surprise appearance here in San Antonio. In this, I guess this is pretty much in the center of San Antonio.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
And as you can see, it is drivable. It pulls up to it actually pulls up to the dock there and
Yeah.
everything.
yeah.
I think Steve, my son, I think Steve drove it.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So, when you filmed on such a central location in San Antonio, how was it controlling the crowds, all the public, yeah, being around you?
It really was no problem. They knew that we were there filming, and a crowd. Well, a lot of times, in the center there, we would just ask people, to pay no attention to what's happening,
Yeah.
or we would rehearse it so that they could see the rehearsal,
Yeah.
and then
But would you then bring in extras for the actual filming, or how did that work?
Yeah, the people who were in the distance, we just let it happen.
Yeah, yeah,
And you have to put up a sign that says, if you choose to be in this location, then you have automatically given permission that you can be filmed.
yeah, yeah,
So legally you're protected.
yeah,
All the people in the background here, those are all extras.
yeah, yeah.
And people down there.
Kind of funny getting that notice. Just be as you are. Nothing is really happening here, and we have people flying through the air and shooting. I can imagine how that must have been to be be on in.
But we told them to be natural.
Yeah.
React to anything that happens. But all the people there we probably had 25 extras, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
probably not anymore.
Yeah.
And they, because they're prominent, and anybody who's prominent, you have to use.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in any ways to make scenes like this more dramatic, the suspense. Can you talk a bit about what your thoughts are doing scenes like this?
Well, tell you the truth. Excuse me. People wanted to be extras. They would do anything. And when you rehearse the scene, you ask the extras to be there. You place them, or they walk by, or whatever, and you just say, react as you would react. And if the assistant directors are the ones who control the background,
Yeah.
the extras, and if I as a director see something that I want to have happen or suggest happens or not happen, I'll tell the assistant director and he'll go over and deliver all those messages.
Yeah.
We usually, on a set like this, we have 3 assistant directors, first, a second, and then a second.
All right. Yeah.
And there's enough people around to help us control the action. We were here in a department store.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were people. If you go back just a little bit, if you look up top on the second floor, you'll see some people leaning over the railing.
Yeah, and looking down at.
And looking down. Yeah. Now, since people are shooting there, you just allow them to be there. Those are non-extras. They're people who are really there, and you're shooting. You can't take up all the floors. We took up one total floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a certain amount of time. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water here. I apologize.
Just as a little information, the boat car, I think, is at the Dieselland Museum in Orlando. If you ever want to go and see it.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and you were shooting at the River Center Mall in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big shoot and a big to do.
Yeah.
Lighting wise, you had to rehearse. There was a lot of rehearsal.
Yeah.
In here because you had a chase, you had shootouts, you had people getting shot, you had a fight between the girls, which you just saw.
Yeah.
And then you have the finale here where Mitch grabs.
And with just the right amount of help, Michael.
Yeah. And I had to cast that girl to make sure that that she would react accordingly.
Yeah, yeah. how many takes you rehearse it, and then if you don't do it in one take, you have to do it in take 2 or 3 or 4. And I imagine that it can be tough in a scene like this, compared to a scene where it's only dialogue.
That's true, but you know what? After a rehearsal, now the stunt coordinator will coordinate, like for instance, this fight right here, and they'll go off stage and rehearse the fight while you're shooting other things.
Yeah.
So it's pretty well set in stone. When you come back and you rehearse it up here, Billy Dixon, the cameraman and camera operator, he was both the DP as well as the operator. Then we would go over. Most of that was shot handheld.
All right.
When you shoot almost the entire fight, well, the entire fight was shot handheld.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can, I would say, a lot of times you print take 1 because you have so many angles that you have shot the fight in, that if something happens in one take that is not exactly proper or work exactly the way you want it, you can always use a different angle.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I would say that fight would probably be a dozen shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And with wider lenses, with tight lenses, and so on. And so it's really up to the editor to put that together. He's got so many choices.
Yeah, yeah.
And he knows pretty much what is happening in that fight, because you do shoot one wide shot so that you know about what the whole scene is about, and then you go in and you shoot the close-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
So the editor will look at the wide shot, and he's got a pretty good idea of what the entire fight involves, and then he'll go down through the tighter shots and pick those shots that work perfectly somewhere in his cutting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And a dramatic end here. The bad guys killed off.
Well, he really didn't fall. So it was a dummy.
He just lay there. Okay, so we're coming to the end here. In a very short while, we're gonna see Kit drive for itself. We knew that from the old TV show. Do you remember how you did that? Is there a driver hidden in the back seat of the car? It does a 180 now shortly, almost at the end credits.
Well, you know, when you don't have the capability in a particular, I mean, this is not a big budget movie. In a big budget movie, you would put the steering wheel in the back seat. You would put the clutch and the brake and the accelerator in the back seat.
Yeah.
We did not have that.
No.
So Steve drove all those, and what he would do, he would get in the car and drive it a couple of times to actually control it, sitting up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we usually break that down into shots, so that if we put the car here and he does a 180, he'll do it a couple of times sitting up.
Yeah.
And then he knows exactly where he's supposed to be, and it's not going to be dangerous. It's not going to be on a narrow street. It's going to be in like a parking lot, which this was.
This, exactly, yeah.
So he'll feel that. Now what he does is he sits down below sight version, and he will be able to feel what he just did sitting up, and he'll drive the car, and at a particular time he'll hit the brake and turn the steering wheel from underneath and do it. Now that may take 2 or 3 times to shoot it, but and then when he drives off, he knows pretty much, he'll set the steering wheel so that he's going in a straight line.
Yeah.
And if he varies a little bit, he's got radio contact with the stunt coordinator.
Of course, yeah.
And who will say stop.
Yeah.
it's not going just right.
Yeah.
And you see, we're in a parking lot here, so his 180 is can be easily done.
Yeah.
Also, if you can see this here, the windows are pretty black.
Yeah. Yeah. But we get a pretty
So
good view of it
so
in this scene.
there are some shots that he could almost be peeking up that you're not going to be able
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah. So
So it's
I
a
remember I was
combination.
always very intrigued by Kid driving himself, and I couldn't remember that this film actually ends with Kid driving itself and doing a 180. So a very neat way to finish the movie, and it ended.
I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and it ended as it should. The good guys won and the bad guys lost. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know on the series if they had a backseat driver for Kid.
They did. Jack Gill, the stunt man and stunt coordinator on the TV show, had built special seats so that they could sit below
Yeah,
visual side and control the car. Yeah,
yeah. I would imagine. I would imagine so. 1991,
yeah,
long time ago.
yeah, yeah. But a great movie, and a great to watch it again, and Alan, not least great to watch it with you. It's been a fantastic ride for me. I can't imagine anyone knowing more about what actually happened here than you with all your insights into making a movie like this. Yeah, it's just impressive.
Well, there aren't a lot of people still alive. Goodness gracious, a lot of our crew and cast, aren't with us anymore. So I'm very lucky that I'm still breathing and can talk and walk. And
We are lucky. We're lucky as well.
no, I still enjoy going back over. I'm not one who sits and watches my old films a lot. I will to a certain degree on special occasions,
Yeah.
like the times Frank Sinatra did a show that I directed, and
All right.
and every once in a while I'll go back and look at things like that, which are
Yeah.
special in my memory.
Fantastic.
And I thank you for reminding me about this.
Yeah.
And for allowing me to chat with you about it. It brought back a lot of fond memories.
Yeah, well, it's an important piece of Night Rider history. It's not long ago that Night Rider historians did a live chat on YouTube, and there were a lot of questions related to Night Rider 2000 actually.
Really?
So it definitely has a fan base with me as well. As I see it now, it's I watched it with a new perspective when I watched it before our interview here. So I think it definitely holds a very important place in Night Rider history. What do you think about we're people, we're a lot of Night Rider fans meeting up. I've been to Southern Nights Atlanta, the big convention arranged by my good friend Mark Pewitt. For the past 4 years, I've traveled to the US for a weekend and met up with what is now very good friends, and meeting up with people from cast and crew, people building their own kit replicas.
Really?
Yeah, I have a kit replica as well in my garage. I promised Sandra that I would show it to her. So I better get it. Yeah, when it becomes spring again here in Denmark, and it's light. It's not dark in the afternoon and evening. We can probably find a time, and I can show her how it works. So. So a lot of people are still enjoying this show, being huge fans of the show. How do you feel about being part of that legacy as well?
You know what? That's been a major enjoyment in my life is being part of actually many legacies,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Battlestar Galactica and Magnum PI and so on. And to say that I enjoy it is really like an understatement, because that's part of what I always dreamed of doing since I was 15 years old. And I don't live in the past, but the past is part of me. You know, when you love something as much as that, I'm sure Sandra, I call her Sam, as as Sam enjoys what she's done in her life. We both talk about it every once in a while. How lucky we were
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be a part of so many families.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you do a show like especially this, and you're with the cast and the crew for 4 or 5 weeks, and the cast even longer in post, you become a family, and the relationships are wonderful, and the occurrences that happen during filming or during prep or whatever, um, are very valuable. Dick Lindheim passed away just about a year ago, and we were dear friends for a long, long, long time, and it brought back memories of Knight Rider, even at that time before I was reminded of it by you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in our lives, we're very lucky to be a part of this industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I could no longer sit behind a desk
No. No.
somewhere fiddling with figures.
No.
I would have been buried many years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a wonderful note to end this conversation. Alan, it's been fantastic watching Knight Rider 2000 with you. So thanks so much for doing this.
Well, thank you for the invite, and thank you for your research. You brought out many things that I had not thought about, and I hope I answered most of your questions to your satisfaction.
Thanks so much. It's been
You
brilliant.
know,
So
my memory is starting to fade, as everybody.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think you brought back so much color on and details regarding how to make a movie like this. So it's fantastic. So so I'm very happy.
Believe me, both the making of the movie and this conversation I've enjoyed
Yeah, thanks so much.
immensely.
Okay, thanks so much for doing this, Alan. Talk to you later, and I'll keep in touch. Don't worry.
Thanks, Jacob. I enjoyed it.
Okay, have a nice day.
Take care. Be well.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.